Hi, welcome to World War America. This is Anderson Thomas. Thanks again for joining me. So you're sitting there and you're watching the news or you're on social media and you see all this talk about Mayor Eric Adams up there in New York City. And you look at what he's saying and you look at what he's doing, and there's controversies here and controversies there. There's crime all over the place. It's out of control, it looks like, right? And you're frustrated. So, what do? Well, tonight we are going to discuss how to start an investigation into Mayor Eric Adams. Okay? What kind of investigation are we talking about? We're talking about journalism here, citizen journalism, researchers, journalists, even you know everyday people who just want to have a hand in making the world a little bit of a better place, or making their city a better place, especially in New York City. This is an opportunity right now to get some pointers and some tips on how to get involved and how to start an investigation into Mayor Eric Adams to hopefully reveal some of the corruption going on in New York City, and hopefully it can help make a change in the direction things are going right now. So, how to start an investigation of Mayor Eric Adams? First of all, we're going to go with what I said in the beginning, a few episodes ago. You always want to start an investigation knowing which publication you are going to go to with your work. Okay? So that's first and foremost. You have to know which publication you're going to. Now, here's the great thing about New York City. There are a boatload of publications to go to. You don't have to go to the New York Times if you don't want to, okay? You don't have to go to the New York Post. You can go to anyone you want to. I mean, there are many, many, many. Now, I have a recommendation for you. If you're local and you want to get involved here, I would recommend going to The Wave, okay? Small paper or medium-sized paper out there in Brooklyn. It's been around for a very long time. Brooklyn, Queens area. I think it's rockawave.com. Okay, I think it's the best newspaper, best, medium-sized, smaller newspaper in New York, in my opinion. Okay, my opinion. But if, you're going to go and do this, you want to pick a publication. So if you're someone like an attorney out there and you have some skill here, you know about lobbying, and maybe you know about something going on in New York City and you want to do a little bit of researching here and hand it over to someone in the media, well, I think you could do pretty good by going to The Wave. You could also go to the New York Post, right? But here's the thing: depending on which publication you're going to go to, is going to depend on what kind of research you're going to do. So if you choose The Wave, then I would recommend doing research into everything strictly local, right? Something local, something that affects the local community there, especially Queens, especially Brooklyn and that area. Anything like that, you can go to The Wave for, right? For the New York Post or the New York Times, you can basically cover almost about anything, right? But you probably don't want to go local with those guys. You want to go more national, maybe. The Post, a little less, right? So the New York Post, you can go to them with almost anything on this subject, dealing with Mayor Eric Adams. The New York Times, I'd be careful. You'd have to really, really, really do your homework. And what I say by that is do your homework is just be prepared. If you go to them, be prepared to have to give them not just a smoking gun, but like 5, right? 5. That's just how it goes. So when it comes to certain politicians, when you're dealing with them, so they will report, but just understand that the bar, when it comes to someone like Mayor Eric Adams, the bar is going to be a little bit higher than it should be, editorial bar, to get over. So just be aware of that. And just know that even if you do get over that bar, they're probably going to water down the story so much that it won't even seem like he did anything wrong, right? So that's the other thing that they have going for them, that even if you get over their editorial bar, they will water that thing down so much it's like not even worth reading, right? So that's the issue with going to them with this mayor in particular. There are other mayors that they've looked out for in the past. We won't go into that. Anyway, want to know your publication. My recommendation, once again, is The Wave, if you're a local person. But I would also definitely go to the New York Post. They've been really good at covering Mayor Eric Adams. Next thing you want to do is you want to get a really good, there are free ones out there, but mind map software. You want to get a free one, and you want to make sure you practice it a little bit, but you want to start your mind map. That's sort of like having a chalkboard and putting up different documents and different photographs, connecting the dots and stuff, and putting down little notes. So you can do that with a mind map software. You want to start that, right? The next thing you want to do is you want to grab his financial disclosures. Okay, grab Mayor Eric Adams' financial disclosures. Now, here's the thing: I've already grabbed them. I can tell you, it's hard to know what's there, because in New York City they allow, in every jurisdiction, when it comes to financial disclosures, there's sort of like a range of income and debt that they will put in. So it's rare that you find a municipality or a state or federal government where you see a financial disclosure and you see the exact amount of money they have in their bank account, right? You will see a range. Well, New York City, their range is huge. So it's almost impossible to know what anybody has asset-wise, what debts they have. So you can get it, but it doesn't seem to be much there, but get it anyway, okay? Please get it. Now, what are you looking for when you start going through these documents, when you start going through news stories, when you just start off on this and you're trying to find something that looks like something worth digging into? Well, in the beginning, especially with a guy like Mayor Eric Adams, okay, he's got a really long political history here, okay? Trust me when I tell you, it's very long. And so there's just a tsunami, there's just an ocean of information there on him. So whenever you're dealing with someone with that much information sitting around, you want to start going with your investigation just by your gut feeling. Just go by your gut. If anything seems like doesn't look right, just start digging, right? And the reason why I say this is because when you start going through this information and you see that how voluminous it is and how much is there when it comes to a man like him, there's really no strategy to use in the beginning on how to get at it. You just have to jump in there. Now, if you try to find a perfect strategy before you get on, you try to think out, I'm going to start looking here and have my friend look there. With someone like him, look, that would work with someone that doesn't have a long political history, but he's got a super long political history with a lot in there, okay? So trying to separate out the work now, you can't. It would be like trying to, eat, 5 sandwiches a piece between 2 people, like 10 sandwiches total. Let's split them in half. You can't do it, right? So you have to start somewhere first of all. So just jump in and just start digging around. That's in the beginning. Look at those financial disclosures. Get your mind map software. Start putting up some information in there. Whatever catches your eye, you want to go with, right? And I will say this too: when looking at an elected official like Mayor Adams, you definitely want to look at his inner circle, right? So that's the other thing you want to do is, once you have your mind map software, definitely start mapping out his inner circle, okay? And then tomorrow, I'll start covering with you where I started, and I'll tell you what I've got and give some pointers on where to go once you've begun your investigation. So have a good night. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll talk tomorrow. Good night.